Hi guys, welcome back to AFTV. We're here once again to chat about Mikel Arteta's press conference. I'm enjoying doing this. It's I always find I wouldn't say he gives a lot away in the press conference, but he definitely he'll allude to certain things and he'll suggest certain things. I remember with Thomas Partey, he told us that he was ready to start, and then a few days later in the Europa League he did. And there's a few interesting things about Aubameyang potentially playing down the middle and you know basically addressing our attacking and creative issues, which suggests to me that it's something he agrees is a problem. And we mentioned in the last press conference that, yeah, he definitely does know that we have issues going forward. So, yeah, let's get into it. Send in your questions, send in your comments, send in the 11s you'd like to see against Manchester United. And happy Halloween to everyone. I sort of forget that comes around this time of year, but here we are. Let's go into it. He first talks about creativity and freedom. But I've got an immediate comment here. Premier League podcast says Arteta out. It's quite I don't know. It's too soon, I think, to be saying that. But yeah, let's keep the faith, guys. So, quotes. He was asked about creativity and sort of freedom. I think they were sort of referring to in the final third. And he talked about structure and having defensive structure and having also a structure that can flow. So I think what he's basically saying is coaching the team to be creative and have a bit of freedom in the final third. It's not something that you could just sort of let them run riot and hope it works. It's something you've got to coach as well. Here's what he had to say. He says, it's more about aggression. When we have the ball, our purpose, our aggression, our runs in behind. When do players take someone and think, I have to make something happen? We want them to think about themselves, not him or him. We want them to take accountability. They need to want to put the ball in the box more often because this is what top teams do. If the other team want to defend the box, make sure they're defending the box all, I think he means all the game, and that we're being very aggressive in the final third. It's something we haven't faced so much since I arrived here, but I think it will happen more and more. There's definitely a sense that the Premier League has been so open since Project Restart, and we've had no fans. It's been sort of quite tepid, really. There's not been like a hell of a lot of attacking intent from teams. It's been a little, I'd say it's been more tactical. I think there's been a lot of what's the word? You don't have the fans basically egging you on. You don't have that adrenaline that maybe you would on normal match days. Well, at least that's how it looked. And then the season, the 2021 season started, and just all hell broke loose. It's just been quite mental with some of the scores we've seen with, I'd hate to say it, but Spurs scoring 6 at United, Villa scoring 7 against Liverpool, and then just 4s and 5s and 3s all over. It's been quite crazy. So pandemic football's definitely been quite interesting. It looked to me, especially in the last weekend or two, that teams have realised this and are tightening up a little bit. It feels to me that maybe sides aren't as gung-ho as they were in the opening weeks of the season. And I think maybe he's alluding to that. Leicester came to the Emirates, and I don't want to say they parked the bus, because they were looking to counter. They were looking to pick us off when it kind of suited. But, we played quite well in that first half, and we kept them pinned in their half. In the second half, they had a little bit more of the go, but it was still a very structured defensive performance from them, which suggests to me that they knew if they opened up too much, it could be a bit of a bloodbath game for either team, for Arsenal or Leicester. So, yeah, it's definitely been interesting. Let's take some comments. What have we got? Brad Lynch says, over in the middle will surely isolate him too much. There's definitely an argument for that, Brad. Thanks for your comment. There's definitely an argument for that, because one of the reasons Arteta loves Lacazette is because he'll drop in and he's quite strong and he'll protect the ball and he'll play other teams in. So he'll bring other players in. So there's definitely an argument that it's not just about having Aubameyang up front instead of Lacazette. It's more about what we're putting around our lone striker. Are we going to put a 10 there like Willian or Ceballos? Are we going to tell our wingers to come more central and not hang so wide? It's all it all plays a part. So I think you've definitely got a point there. Thanks, Brad. Let's take some other comments. Forgive me. Here's Abdul Rahman Karim says, we could go back to 3-4-3 formation because it really worked for us. I think we will go back to that formation personally. I agree with you. It worked against the big teams before. United, it's only been a couple of weeks since since the Spurs meltdown, but they have looked a bit better recently. So I can see us going for the 3-4-3. Monk says lockdown out. Fair enough. What else have we got? Abdul Kabir says play Nelson. Yeah, he looked really, really good the other night. So did Willock. Willock, I think, has got a bit more of a fight to get into the team because Arteta trusts Ceballos and he trusts Xhaka, and Partey's just come in, so he's going to play. So I'm not saying Willock doesn't deserve to. I think maybe Willock could displace Xhaka once we have that sort of, I suppose, that safe aspect to our defensive side of the game that Arteta wants. I think he likes Xhaka because he trusts him and he's disciplined and he does what he's asked. With Willock, it's more of an adventurous option. You're going to have him running out of position, running in behind, doing different things. So I think it's more difficult for him to break into the 11. But Nelson, I think he's got a free hit at it. Lacazette's not performing. Pepe has moments, but he's struggling. Willian hasn't really done it since the Fulham game. Who else have we got? I mean, Martinelli's out injured. I mean, we hope he comes back soon. And Saka. I mean, Saka's been playing in the midfield 3 and at left wing back at times. So I think there's definitely an opportunity for Nelson to take that position by the scruff of the neck and make it his own, and be that winger that we need. I just had a good one there from Arthur Crawley. Forgive me. Can't find it, but thank you, Arthur, for sending it in. Basically asking me what my front 3 was for tomorrow. I would have front 3 for tomorrow. I think I'd have Auba down the middle. I think it's time we just try that and give us some pace in behind. And I would probably have Willian on the left and Saka on the right. I'm not sure Pepe's quite done enough for me, but I do appreciate that if you're going to play this defensive game, you need players who can do something out of nothing. And that's exactly what Pepe offers. He can make something out of nothing. So maybe Pepe instead, but I think I'd like to see Willian on the left. I'd like him to come inside and have a bit more sort of a central role. So, yeah, but look, thanks for the questions, guys. Another one from Premier League Podcast. Would you start Saliba? Yes, I haven't seen enough of him, but he's the way they talk about him, some of the potential he clearly has. Yeah, you'd think he should be playing, but Mustafi looked good in fairness before his injury, before that injury against Man City at Wembley. So yeah, maybe he'll find that form again. But yeah, of course, I'd like to see Saliba play. Arteta was then asked about Aubameyang and whether he could play centrally. We just spoke about this. He said, it's one of the options that we have for sure in the team to evolve it. That's interesting. He's almost saying like that's something we will do. Like evolving, suggests that that's something we'll get to, but we're not quite ready for. So I thought that was interesting. He says, the moment he doesn't score in 3 or 4 games, people will say he needs to play more central. It was great for him to play on the left because he wasn't picked up by central defenders. There was more freedom for him to do that. Criticism is a part of this industry. He makes a fair point. I mean, Aubameyang, when he went to the left, didn't stop scoring under Arteta. In fact, he was playing some of his best football. I thought some of the runs he was making. I remember against Everton at home, David Luiz carried the ball slightly into midfield and threaded a lovely ball into Aubameyang. He was through on goal. Now, he maybe doesn't make that run if he's making it from a more central position, or at least if he is, it's not coming onto his right foot more naturally. So that is definitely a difficult one. I understand why people want him down the middle. I want him down the middle, but then I do get why Arteta's persisting with him down the left. I just think he needs to be a bit more central. He can play off the left, making those runs, but ultimately take up more central roles. If you look at his heat map and his touch map, he's taking so many touches out on the wing. And by the way, on the left I can deal with, but on the right it just doesn't work at all for me. And maybe if Lacazette finds a bit of form, that will work again. But I get why people want to see him in the middle for sure. But if he plays on the left, I'm not completely angry at it because he's done well in that position so far. Let's go through some more comments. Drifty says, I feel Guendouzi is a quality player, drives the ball, plays penetrating passes and provides extra aggression. Thoughts? I liked Guendouzi a lot. I did. I really liked Guendouzi before everything that happened, and we don't really know what happened. Clearly some sort of falling out. It's a weird one for me, Guendouzi, because I didn't really know what his best position was. I knew he had quality, but I didn't really know where to use him. So if we had him now, would he be our attacking outlet? Would you play him with Xhaka and Partey and have Guendouzi as the box-to-box, someone who can make something happen out of nothing, because he proved last season that he could do that. Or, is he a defensive midfielder, or is he one of two? So maybe Partey sits and Guendouzi's box. Well, I didn't really know what his best position was. I think the last few games where we've needed something to happen, we have slightly missed a Guendouzi type. Sabas, for all his class, is playing too deep at the moment. So yeah, we definitely have missed a midfielder who can make something happen. I think, in fairness, Saka's been, he's taken the baton there and he's trying to do that now. But yeah, quality player on his day. But in fairness, he was inconsistent at times as well. Another one from Premier Podcast. Why do you think Mustafi rejected a contract? He's saying that that's not true. Well, I think that's what he said anyway, that wasn't true. But in fairness, I mean, we've just signed Gabriel. Mavropanos is one who's considered, he's fairly highly rated by the club, or at least they want to protect his value, so they offered him a new contract. You got Saliba coming through. Who else? Rob Holding's still there. Maybe Mustafi just knows that this time next year he's not going to play much. So, and it's not been an easy ride for him at Arsenal, so I could understand why he'd want to leave, in fairness. What else have we got? This is interesting. Ariane Dattoroy says, it's not justifiable that our best forward player has more recoveries than shots, especially when we are struggling to score. Yeah, that is a bit weird. I do agree with you, but he's working hard for the team. There's one thing you can't say about Aubameyang, is that he's selfish. He works hard for the team. What else have we got? If I go one day without seeing his name, Mukhtar Alpha says, Ozil, we need it, please. Honestly, if I can give one bit of advice to Arsenal fans, to Ozil fans, it's end the Ozil thing. It's not going to happen. I don't know if you can re-register players from January. You might be able to. So maybe he makes a comeback then. But at the moment, it's just not going to happen. Ozil's been left out of the squad. So even if everything completely goes terribly and he trains brilliantly, he's not going to play. So I think, guys, we just need to let that one go. Not Steam. Oh, where is it? There we go. Not Steam. Why not Willian as Cam? Yeah, I'd like to see that. I would. Why not? I think he does well in central areas. So, yeah, I would definitely like to see that. Lovely comment from Elias Mazzara. Thank you. Appreciate that a lot. It's nice for me to sort of try and bring some different content, covering these press conferences, doing a bit of analysis. So yeah, very kind, really appreciate that. Rahul Jawali says, Luiz out, so Mustafi in, United advantage. Yeah, we'll talk about injuries in a bit. It doesn't look like Luiz will be fit, but we don't know for sure. Mustafi on his day can be, he can be excellent on his day. We don't see, how do I put it? We don't see enough of it, but I think that's partly down to bad coaching. Arteta's the first coach, even since Wenger, that has come in and addressed the defensive side of the game properly by adding a centre-back, adding a holding midfielder, and, basically, trying to address a position that's been a real problem for us for a long time. So he's looked better under Arteta, someone who's come in and tried to fix the defence. And, hopefully that continues. But he's just back from injury. It might take him a bit of time. At the moment, we don't have much time because we've got Old Trafford coming up. Let's go into some more comments. Thanks. Some more quotes. Thanks for your comments, guys. Yeah, keep sending them in. Love discussing with you guys what's going on, who should be playing, who should be playing in the middle, what our front three should be, who plays now that Luiz could be out, all that. So send it in. Nicolas Pepe. Pepe divides opinion. I think there are people who are starting to think that this investment wasn't right for the club. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't swaying that way. But if there's one thing he's definitely got, Nico, it's the ability, as we said before, to do something out of absolutely nothing. He can literally be giving a 1 out of 10 all game, and then he'll get the ball, he'll cut inside, and then he'll swing it into the top far corner, and you're thinking, that's why he cost what he was, because he's got that quality. When he came on against Sheffield, he turned the game, and the run and the drive he showed was sort of Pepe at his best. Here's what Arteta had to say about him. He said he needed some time. I think he means to settle in. He needed some time. It's not easy when the club makes the investment that they made on him. The expectations are high. Apologies. He's handled the situation really well. He's better adapted, and he's a player that is unpredictable. That has something special. Well, he's a player that's unpredictable, and that has something special. It's just about doing it in a consistent way. Consistency is the word with Pepe. We've seen him beat a man, show some unbelievable skill, a great finish, good strength, nutmegs here, turns there. I'm not asking him to do that every game. I'm just asking him, I suppose, to pick up the ball in areas where he can be dangerous. And too often he's getting it in areas where he can't hurt anyone. And actually against Sheffield United, when he picked the ball and he's running at goal, that's what he can do. He terrifies teams. So the fullback come inside, should the centre-back come and press? It's not easy to stop a player like Pepe when he's in full flow. But when he's hanging out on the right wing, it just doesn't really work for him, unfortunately. Send us your comments in on Pepe. I definitely think he's got quality. I think he's worth persisting with. There's definitely something there, but he's not giving it enough. And I can see why Arteta isn't starting him or why he's hooking him off in games, if I'm honest. Rohit Dev says, hey, James, Ainsley Maitland-Niles was not good last game, especially when it looked like he was ahead of Bellerin. Maitland-Niles delivered 2 or 3 phenomenal performances at Wembley when we needed him. The semi, the final, and the Community Shield. And that might have, by the way, I love Maitland-Niles. I really rate him as a player, attributes-wise especially. That might have skewed people's minds. I think recency bias made people think that maybe he was better than he's been over his Arsenal career. Now, in fairness, the guy's done brilliantly. He's slotted in at right back, left back, right wing back, left wing back, midfield, right wing. He's done a bit of everything. So credit to him. He's done a real job for us. But he wasn't always consistent in those runs. When he was playing regularly as a right wing back under Emery, he was fine. He was hit and miss. At times he was brilliant, at times he wasn't. He has had a decent run at right back when Bellerin wasn't fit and we didn't have Cedric. And in fairness, he didn't make the position his own. He didn't really grab it by the scruff of the neck. And there was talk about him wanting to play in midfield or whatever. But look, I believe he's got a great attitude. He's proven to Arteta he does, and he's earned his place in the team at times. But does he deserve to play right now? The last 2 performances haven't been great, and I think we're reminded that actually Maitland-Niles doesn't deliver you constant 6, 7, 8s. He will drop a 4 or a 3 out of 10 in terms of performance. He's not consistent in that way. Someone like El Neni, right? As an individual performance, he might never be as good as Maitland-Niles at his best. He might never give you like a 9 or a 10 out of 10 performance, but he'll never give you below a 6. I don't think we can say that about Maitland-Niles. And Bellerin at the moment at right back, even when he's dropping, as a 4 or a 5 out of 10 performance, he's not really at it. He's got the ability to do what he did against Rapid Vienna or against Sheffield, which is just make that dart in behind, and suddenly you're through, and you're causing teams problems. And Maitland-Niles doesn't really have that to his game. So it's an interesting one. Attributes-wise, I think Maitland-Niles outscores Bellerin in most things, but I do see why Bellerin is playing. So, yeah, that's an interesting one. Thanks for your question. Here's another one. JC Ochko, midfield of El Neni, Partey, Ceballos. That'd be good. That would be good. What, El Neni is the sort of the defensive midfielder, Partey box to box, Ceballos being more creative. Yeah, why not? That would be good to see. Rob AFC. Can't wait to see Emil Smith-Rowe back in the side. He's match fit now, so I'd expect to see him versus Mulder. He'll bring some creativity that we've lacked. Yeah, I would like to see that. I said it in the last stream. If there's one youngster who I want to have the sort of breakthrough that Saka did last year, it's Smith-Rowe. Willock and Nelson I'm including in that. I still think we need a Smith-Rowe to be brilliant more than we need a Willock and a Nelson to be brilliant. But I tell you what, if Willock and Nelson deliver the sort of performances they did the other night, and I appreciate it was, Europa League game against with all due respect, a lesser side, if they can transfer that to the Premier League and Smith-Rowe can do something similar, then that would obviously be a big bonus for the club. What else have we got here? Tramley, I think he's asking, would you take Zoboslai from Salzburg? Yeah, I would. arguably over Our. I'm not saying he's better than Our. I think he suits a 4-3-3 the way maybe we want to play it more, sort of a little bit more dynamism. But look, maybe I'm talking rubbish. Aouar's got dynamism as well, could be brilliant. So I'll take either, but we definitely need someone. Mohamed Awals, is that, or an I? Away, sorry. James, should Reece Nelson start against United after his brilliant performance in the Europa League? I wouldn't start him myself, but if he did, I wouldn't be disappointed. I completely think he deserves a run in the team. Is going away from our natural principles and playing him against United the best time to do it? Maybe not. But we definitely need a ball carrier, and I think Nelson looked class the other night. So yeah, I wouldn't be against it. What else have we got? Some interesting quotes coming in. Elder Max, and I think he's asking someone else. He's still gassed over the Dundalk win. In fairness, we weren't spectacular at all, but at least we did the job, and we saw some youngsters. I don't know. We saw some youngsters, basically take their opportunity. We've seen other teams, they rotate, and the youngsters don't do the job. And in fairness, it did work for us. So right, let's go into some more quotes. Arteta was asked about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and United's threat and what they can do. Said a few things, but I thought this bit was the most interesting bit. He says, so United, can play 2 or 3 different formations. We know that they've been changing some things because of the opponent sometimes, because of the quality of the players they have, and sometimes to change the game in certain moments. Yeah, he's alluding to the fact that Ole, I think, basically played this diamond against Leipzig, which was very interesting. And he's proven that he's got the ability to mix things up sometimes and cause different problems for opposition teams. Will they change up against Arsenal? Let's put it this way. I would fear United more if they played their best 6 of Pogba, Matic, Fernandes, Rashford, Martial, Greenwood. If they play that 6 and they have a go, I fear them more because I think those 6 are very good players. If he's mixing up and playing a diamond or a 2 up front or whatever it is he might do, or a back 3, I fear them less because United haven't ever really done too well when they've adapted tactically. Maybe, you know what? Maybe that's not fair. Against Leipzig, it worked. But in just under 2 years, a year and a half, that's not many moments we can point to where United have done something tactically brilliant, and and people are calling Solskjaer a master tactician. He's played the back 3, which worked a few times against Guardiola. I think he did quite well against Klopp and Liverpool last season. A 1-1 draw. They were unfortunate not to win. So yeah, if they mix it up, they can be dangerous, but I just fear them more when they're playing their best front 6, if I'm honest. What else have we got? Let's take some more comments, and then I'll do the injury news. Jaden Tengwana, this is very interesting. I think I agree with you, Jaden. I'm not bothered with the results this season, just want to see progress. I'm looking to next season. I know this one will be disappointing, so I'm getting the hope out of my head as early as possible. Don't lose hope. Like, you're a fan, and you should always hope for the team, and you should always be confident that we're Arsenal. We've got good players. We should always be confident. Look how bad we were last season, and we won the FA Cup. So, and we still got the Europa League, the Carabao Cup. Don't rule anything off. This can be a very, very good season, even if we don't perform in the league. But that's why I agree with you, which is that I want to see progress. Now, if we finish 6th or 7th, but we're playing some really good football, and the team clearly looks better, and we win the Europa League, or we win the Carabao Cup, yeah, that's not good enough. Really, it's not what I'm hoping for, but it's progress. If we win the Europa League and get to the Champions League, but we don't really do it in the Premier League this season, to be honest, I'll take that, because we just need that Champions League money that invest in the team. So I hear what you're saying. Progress over results to a degree, but the results got to come as well. Finishing 11th but playing really good football isn't going to cut it. Let's be honest. Let's take another comment. Juxtaposition 99. Creative wise, this team is worse. Yeah, probably true. Probably true of since Wenger's last year. The 17-18 or the 16-17 season was the last time I felt we could just put 5 past the team if we turned up. We don't really look capable of doing that at the moment. At best, we'll defend well and maybe nick a goal or 2. But yeah, Roshan Bent says, I feel we will be compact if we take a 1-0 lead up. Yeah, I think that might be the game plan. Take your chances when you can, but ultimately be quite defensive. So should we go into injury news? Martinelli still out, mentioned in the last one. He's had a successful arthroscopic procedure. That was in the cartilage of the left knee. This was a while ago. He's commenced running outside and doing daily strengthening and recovery at London Colney and aiming to be back by the end of the calendar year. That's not that far away, actually. I sort of forget how quickly time's flown. We're at the end of October. Tomorrow's November. Wow. Pablo Mari, bit of a setback, according to Arteta, he said in the press conference, continuing outside and strengthening programme together with light ball work and aiming to integrate into full training after the November international period. There we go. But bit of a setback. I think our Saliba would have been in the squad for the Europa League game, for the Europa League games and group stage had Mari, been on course, but it looks like he's not. Chambers now back in full training. Forget about Chambers. Another reason why Mustafi might not want to sign a contract extension because Chambers is there too. Anyway, now back in full training, progressing well towards full match fitness. Yeah, hopefully he'll play in the Europa League game soon. Be good to see Chambers back. He was doing well before his injury. Rob Holding, we know, hoping to be back in full training next week. And then the big one is David Luiz. There's been no update from the club. Anyway, left thigh injury, sustained this issue during the game against Leicester, which we lost. It's interesting the club are keeping their mouth shut on this. The fact that we don't know yet is a bit strange. I think normally we'd have that news. So, does that mean he's potentially made a recovery and Arteta doesn't want to give too much away? Who knows? But I'd like to see David Luiz. He's looked really good this season. I think he's been one of our better players. Him, Gabriel, and I think I said Saka have been our players of the season so far. So I'd like to see David Luiz back, but I'm confident Mustafi can do a job if he comes in. Guys, that's pretty much it. Should we take one more comment before I go? Yazir Ahmed says, what do you think about this lineup? Feel like I'm the only one who wants this. Nelson, Oba, Pepe. Yep, that's the front 3. Saka, Partey, Xhaka. Interesting. Bellerin, Tierney, Gabriel, Mustafi, and Leno. Swap Xhaka for Ceballos. And yeah, I'd be very happy seeing that team. So, guys, thanks so much for your comments. Thanks for tuning in. That's the latest from Arteta's press conference. It looks like he, totally as he did before the Dundalk press conference, or during the Dundalk press conference, he said that we need to improve going forward. We need to put balls in the box more. We need to have more of a threat. We need to, structurally have freedom, which is interesting. I think it sounds to me like he's not prepared to just let the team run riot and go for it. I think he wants to coach them how to attack in the best way. So, yeah, interesting one. And let's hope we beat Man United. Honestly, they've had a few good games. A lot of their fans are getting very, very confident. I say overconfident, considering really how they've been, the inconsistencies they've had over the last few years. So I believe we can go get a win. Hope we do. Confident we can. But United are going to be tough, and we should acknowledge that too. So guys, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you at the next one. Loads of coverage, by the way, on AFTV tomorrow. Obviously for the game, it's going to be a busy day with build-up show starting 11, and then obviously the aftermath with Charlie and Pippa. So guys, thanks very much, and see you at the next one.